And off we go on the women's 400 IM. No doubt she's going to be off to a blazing start in the butterfly. Brittany, you mentioned the difference in the splits between her backstroke and breaststroke. She's done world records in swimming it a couple different ways. What does that tell you about her and her journey with this event?
Well, I do think that we are used to seeing her in individual events in the butterflies and definitely the IMs, but every IM specialist has their specific strength, and for Summer it's typically this first 100 and then the closing speed. The thing that she's been really working on has been the breaststroke, and Bob has said he's been really intentionally working on backstroke and breaststroke, so we know she's capable of a 106 in the back and maybe even a 117 in the breaststroke. Those two things haven't happened in the same race, so that's the exciting part about this situation.
Well, and what I'm seeing here in this first 50 meters of butterfly, for a long time she's been described as a swimmer with all gas and no brake. But just as we saw in the 200-meter butterfly yesterday, it's a little bit more relaxed. There's a little bit more control happening in the water through this first 100 meters of butterfly. 59.9, so that's about 0.7 of a second slower than her world record pace. But that doesn't really matter because there's still 300 meters left to go in this one.
Right, and the two swimmers beside her, Ella Jansen and Mary Sophie Harvey, are world-class butterflyers. So the fact that after butterfly, she's about 5 meters ahead of the rest of the field adds so much more context to how capable Summer is of just completely blowing us out of the water in terms of expectations.
So looking very smooth and strong through this backstroke. We'll see what her first split is. We're hoping for 33 low, maybe 32 high. We'll see what she turns at. So 133.9 is a 33.9 split. Again, that is still that's well within herself and her ability. She's been much faster than that before. So we'll see what this does to set up the back end of her race.
And backstroke is notably a little bit more challenging in this pool. You can see she's staying strategically over to the lane line because the ceiling has a little bit of curve to it. So very smart, very intentional racing here from Mcintosh.
So Summer Mcintosh, she's been as fast as 4:28 already this year. It's a time she did very, very early in the long course season, done in January. She's going through this first 100 meters at a 2:07.0. So she's a little bit over her world record pace, but a solid second 50. And we like to see that in the back, in the breast, in the free, that second 50 faster than your first. And she's off onto the breaststroke, and she's looking very, very strong for those first 25 meters of breast.
And this is the stroke she's put a lot of extra work in. She's worked on technique, she's worked on building endurance, and arguably I think this is the one where she can make that extra push and the difference maker when it comes to the 400 IM.
So here it is, Mcintosh, about 5 meters left to go in this first 50 of the breaststroke. And come off this wall, another 50 meters of breaststroke, 2:45.9, a 38.8 split. So solid on as she goes. She's about 2 seconds off of world record pace, but still, as Brittany mentioned, her world record is 3 seconds better than anybody has ever been aside from her.
And the crowd's starting to get behind her. You can see we have some natural light here at this beautiful Olympic pool, 50 years since that Montreal 1976 games, and you can feel the nostalgia, feel the excitement and the momentum in this sport.
So you've got Summer Mcintosh coming into the 300 wall now, looking great with that rhythm, finishing off the breaststroke. She's going to have 100 meters of freestyle left to go. She turns at 3:25.6, and remember, she is also one of the most dominant distance freestylers in the world, so we know she's going to finish well.
And this is where she needs the crowd to help her. Summer now about 1.5 to 2 seconds over her world record split, but everything is, in the top historical performances other than her world record. She's always been in that 4:25, 4:24 category, so I think she'd be happy with something along that range.
Here we go. This is the last turn. She's going to split 31.5. Less than 50 meters of a freestyle to go here in the women's 400 IM. She's already the fastest in the world. We'll see if she goes better than that 4:28 that she did early on in the long course season. Mcintosh dominating this women's 400 IM.
See, she's breathing every two, trying to get as much oxygen as possible for this final stretch.
And here we go at the close, at the flags, 5 meters. Summer Mcintosh in lane number 4, 4:27.35, the fastest time in the world for the women's 400 IM. Second is going to be lane number 5, Ella Jansen, coming in with a solid showing here at 4:38.1. And bronze is going to go to our hometown favorite. That's Mary Sophie Harvey. Just won a 4:43.26.
And that time for Summer Mcintosh, the 8th fastest all-time, just amassing herself from 2023. But anywhere in that mid-range of 4:20s is I mean, phenomenal. And if you want some perspective, 4:26.36 was Katika Hosu's world record before Summer broke it. So